All right, class, this is number 15 on page 568. It's also like a online problem. Okay, so we're supposed to figure out um, if there is any difference in any of these spots. That's what the whole gist of this problem is. You can also look back on just page 564. This is called a two-way ANOVA. Okay, so we're going to use a two-way ANOVA test. You got to use this Excel minor analysis pack, which hopefully you are all able to download. If not, just go to add-ons and then search for Excel minor analysis tool pack. Okay, it should be able to download it, and then you're just going to click start. Okay, so you put the data in like this: 23513, 23513, 60 seconds, 14225, and so on. So we're supposed to, so these are ratings. These are people are ranking a certain commercial, one that's 30 seconds on a radio, and then one that's 30 seconds on a TV, one that's 60 seconds on a radio, and one that's 60 seconds on a TV. So what we're doing as the statistician is we're trying to figure out which of these combinations do the people like the most. So that's the whole point of a two-way ANOVA in this case. Okay, so the first thing you need to do in a two-way ANOVA, you got to figure out we got to determine the null and alternative hypothesis for the main effects. So the main effects are the medium and the length of the ad. Do either of these affect the rating? So do people prefer radio or television? Do people prefer 30 seconds or 60 seconds? So that's the first thing we're going to do. And just so you know, in a two-way ANOVA test, there's actually three things we're testing. We're testing whether they prefer radio or television, whether they prefer 30 or 60, or whether there's some combination, whether they prefer this one, this one, this one, or this one, like a combination of radio and 60, combination of radio and 30, and so on. Okay, so this first thing, it's called the main effects, and that's the length and the medium. Okay, so here are your null. The advertised medium has no effect on the rating. The length of the ad has no effect. These would be the HOs. The HAs would be, probably should write those in. So these would be the HOs. Let me see something. Yeah, these would be the HOs, and then the HAs would be the opposites of these. The medium does affect ... This would be the HO, and then the HA. The length does, length of the ad does affect. You guys can fill in the blank here. I'm not going to write it all out. I hope you hopefully understand. So there's two different tests for the main effects. Okay, and then the second one, and these all end in rating. We're trying to determine if these have an effect on the rating. Okay, we're not trying to determine if the advertising medium has effect on the length, or the length has an effect on the medium. That doesn't make sense. We want the medium, how that affects the rating. The length, how that affects the rating. Okay, determine the null and alternative hypothesis for the interaction. Okay, and again, I just wrote the HO here. Whoops. Advertising length as there is no interaction effect between advertised length and rating. HA, there is an effect. Effect. There is an effect. There is an interaction. Hold on. There is an interaction effect between length, medium, on rating. Again, this always ends in radian. It's not the interaction between length and rating on the medium, or the interaction between medium and rating on the length. It's the interaction between the length and the medium. How are they interacting to affect the rating? Okay, the next thing we need for this is the test statistic. So let's take a look at how to get that. So here I've entered the data. You guys saw that before. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to highlight this. Okay. And then, okay, I suppose I should tell you which one. You're going to pick two-factor with replication because we're repeating. We have 30 seconds repeating 5 times in each of these. So it's not the two-factor without, it's the two-factor with, because 30 seconds is repeating. Okay, it's all highlighted, and I have my columns highlighting, my names and everything. So I just click in here, and it's the same one I had before, so that's why this has something in it. I'm just going to click in there. Okay, now how many are repeating? Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 repeating. 5 rows per sample. So I'm going to put a 5 there. My alpha value for this problem is 0.1. And my output, I want my output to start right here. If yours is blank, okay, you just put it where you want it to start and you click. Okay, so it's going to start right there. I click OK. And it calculates everything for you. There's a lot going on here. For this problem, the main things we want, I'll slide down here, are these 3 things. Okay, so it calculates a critical value for you. That's kind of nice. These are your F values, your F test statistic values. Okay, and obviously these are the P values. And then what you're doing is you're comparing either these 3 values to these 3. And as you notice, all 3 of these are less than all 3 of these, which means we are going to fail to reject all 3 of them because this is smaller than this one, this is smaller than this one, and this is smaller than this one. It's the same with our P values. Remember, if P is less than or equal to, P is less than or equal to your alpha value, and our alpha value is 0.1, are any of these 3 less than or equal to 0.1? No. So we're going to fail to reject here, fail to reject here, and fail to reject here. So what does that mean? What does that mean? So that means we failed to reject this one. So that means we do believe, or whatever, that the advertised medium has no effect on the rating. We failed to reject this one. The length of the ad has no effect. And we failed to reject this one. There is no interaction effect between advertising length and medium. Okay, so there's no real goofy thing going on. Let's take a look at, so if you're going to reject, say this F value would have needed to be like 4 or something, right? Because now this value is greater than this. So in this case, you would reject the interaction between the sample, which is on this side. So in this case, we would reject the length of the medium. The length of the medium would have an effect on the rating. Okay? If we had a 4 or higher here, right? If we're bigger than the critical value here, now this is on the column. Remember, these are columns. So now this would mean that the medium has an effect on the rating. Okay? And then lastly, if I had a 4 here, this would mean that the interaction, there's an interaction, there's some combination, like either this group is bigger than the rest of them, or this group is bigger than the rest of them, or this group, and so on. Okay? So hopefully that helps. Last thing I'll show you how to do is how to put this into, how to put these values into StatCrunch. So when you get to a problem like this, you're going to hit here. You're going to go to here. You're going to go, not StatCrunch, I meant into your Google Sheet, you're going to click here. Okay, double click to click on copy. Go to your Google Sheet. Okay, and it's kind of goofy. This is how it gives it to you. It's all jumbled up. Okay, so there's kind of a trick to get it to work here. What I do is I grab all these right here. Okay, is that what I do? Nope, I grab these right here, put them here. So now this is where my TV is. This is my radio. Okay, and then I grab these, just move them up. I grab these. These are TV, so I'm going to put them in my TV column. And these are TV with 60. So I'm going to change these guys to 60. Okay. All right, now you can get rid of the rest of the stuff. This is a little bit confusing, but hopefully if you just kind of follow the steps, make a little more sense. Delete this column. There we go. So now I have my 30 seconds, and you can type it all in by hand and make it look like this also. My 30 seconds right here, radio, TV, and then again, if I wanted to run the two-way ANOVA, highlight it. I have 5 again, 0.01, sure. Yeah, all that looks good. Okay, and then these are my values down here. Critical value is way less than, this one's close though. So columns. So people do, oh, it's really close. And you can maybe see that there's more 5s over here than there are over here. So it looks like people prefer TV a little bit, but not to the level that we're going to consider it significant. Okay, hope this helps.